Welcome back to Business Breakfast in Bedhead. I actually do these live calls on Instagram. I would love for you to come and hang out with me at them. So if you don't already follow me at Dawn Bradley, DAWNBRADLEY, should have made a song about that. Go follow me there because then you can take part in these live calls and can actually chat with me. But if you can't make them, no sweat. Now they're going to be here. So welcome to Business Breakfast in Bedhead. Buckle up, friend, and let's dive in. I overthink, I overshare, and I overanalyze. So come explore with me as I chat about business, life, and relationships, all through the lens of an anxious creative. Hi, good morning, and welcome to Business Breakfast in Bed. Today we're going to talk about why clients aren't booking and what you can do to combat it, because I know it's been a slow time, it's been a slow summer, and a lot of you are wondering, like, is this it? Is this the time in my career where I need to pack up, ship out, and go to another industry? And that is not the case. I see so many people quitting their industries, quitting their jobs because they think, well, clients aren't coming in anymore. I've lost relevance. I'm out of touch. There's all these new people. Just simply myths that you're telling yourself to keep yourself feeling safe from having to take action. And so we're going to get into it today. Am I back? Am I back? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? This happens every once in a while with my internet. My house, it doesn't matter. My house is haunted or something. I'm not really sure. Good morning. So if you're wanting to get more clients, if your clients aren't booking, I want you to listen in and listen up, because that's what I want to do. I feel so defeated in the industry. Yeah, you've been thinking about, like, maybe my time's up. I know that this wasn't like a long-term career. Maybe everybody was right. What's going on? I feel like I'm embarrassed that nobody's booking. I'm embarrassed that I have to tell people that I have openings. I'm this far into my career. This shouldn't be happening. Now, one, we need to get off our high horse, and this is going to be some tough love with Dawn. So first of all, I want to share with you guys that this is a safe space and a judgment-free zone. I'm going to spit some hard truths, and there might be some things that make you feel uncomfortable because I'm going to hit the nail right on the head. But this is in no way am I ever wanting you guys to feel shame or judgment around this. I'm just gonna speak from my experience in over 23 years as a hairstylist and in the service industry, and I know it might hit home. And if you're experiencing any sort of shame or embarrassment or going, oh my God, that's me, know that I've been right alongside you, and you shouldn't feel shame or embarrassment. Those feelings are uncovering an insecurity that you have around something. So when you feel that shock of shame or embarrassment, or like, oh my gosh, that's so true, that's actually what it is and not what I thought it was, be gentle and compassionate with yourself, okay? We're all on different journeys, we're all on different paths, and we're all in different places. And so if you guys can all put a 1 in the chat, committing to this being a safe space and a judgment-free zone, that you'll be someone that we can show up real, raw, honest, and vulnerable with. I'm gonna commit to being real, raw, honest, and vulnerable with you this morning. And that way, you guys putting the 1 shows me that you're safe people for me to share my story with. And then everybody else in here can see that you're a safe person to be around as well, because that's really important. You can't grow if you don't feel safe. You can't show up and get real with yourself in order to get onto the next place if you don't feel safe. I love this. Thank you for the 1s. So, true story. I packed up everything I owned. I moved a 6-hour drive away. I started my career over at 31 years old in a city where I knew no one. And within 12 weeks, I was fully booked. This is stuff that I teach inside of my client building bundle. I just announced I'm going to be having the client magnet, which is going to magnetize people to you as someone who's been in the industry for a while. If you're a seasoned professional, if you've been in your industry for a while, this isn't specific to hairstylists. This can be anybody who offers a service to another, like a one-on-one service. If you've been in your industry for a while and you've felt feelings of embarrassment or like, oh my gosh, how come people aren't booking, and you just want to magnetize people to you without having to broadcast that you have all these openings, let me tell you, you're going to want to get in on the client magnet. I'm going to be delivering it live this first round. So this is the round that you want to get in on, because you'll get me with Q&A. Plus I'm giving away 10 90-minute one-on-one strategy sessions for you and your business for the first 10 people who join the client magnet. So if you're interested in getting in on this container, it's going to be live, it's going to be a small group, and you're going to be able to talk with me one-on-one and get my eyes on your business and your specific scenario, whether you be in a small town, whether it's like, I can't build a clientele because of specific circumstances, I work from home, I'm coming back off mat leave, I left the industry for 5 years, whatever it is, I'm going to be able to be there with you. So the client magnet is my new container that I'm just launching. I just announced it yesterday. The first 10 people, 2 spots have already been snagged. The first 10 people, so I guess there's 8 left. First 10 people get a 90-minute one-on-one strategy session with me. I don't offer one-offs, one-on-ones. So this is a very rare opportunity. So just want to put that in your ear if that's something that sounds like what you need. But at 31, I packed up, I started over in a city where I knew no one, and within 12 weeks I was fully booked. Ooh, yes, yeah, I can teach you how to build your clientele. But what nobody's talking about is how do I get in on it? Danielle, DM me about it. Just DM me the word client magnet and I'll get you the link. The link's actually also in my stories. So if you go from my stories from yesterday, you can click the early bird. There's also early bird pricing right now. The first 10 people, like I said, will get the 90-minute strategy session. It's there as an optional add-on. The first 10 people don't need to get that. So if you want to get in on that, DM me first. Okay, so nobody's talking about the fact that you can build a clientele really easily in the beginning, but when you're years in and you don't have the excuse of new to a city, when you're feeling a little bit embarrassed about where you're at, when you feel like hi Alyssa, when you feel like everything you're good at, you're skilled and talented, but how come my success rate's going down? How come my clients are leaving? How come all of this is happening? Am I irrelevant? Am I no good? I seem to be having spaces in my in my booking when I used to be full, and you're kind of going through this whole self-doubt. You're really nobody's talking about how to build a clientele in that scenario. And that's what the client magnet's going to help with. It's going to be for the seasoned professional that has opening in their schedule that's wondering what the heck happened. This never used to be the way. Put a 1 in the chat if you relate to this. It never used to be what was happening, and all of a sudden your schedule is more open, people aren't booking, clients that you always thought were happy before aren't coming back. You're wondering if you've lost touch with reality, you've lost touch with the trends. And is it a better thing to move on? Does that sound familiar? Or if it doesn't sound familiar, what is your specific scenario? Because I want to be able to help you where you're at. And the reason why I come here and do these lives is to help you with what you're currently working on. So, okay, that sounds familiar. So what happened was I built my clientele in under 12 weeks in a city where I knew no one. And I started having clients coming in. And my biggest problem was the fact that I had too many new clients. And after about a year, a lot of my regulars weren't being able to get in. And then I was looking at my success rate. And as you guys know, a lot of people, when you get a new client, it's like a 50-50 chance if they're the right fit, right? Whoa, how did I do that? I don't even know how, that was fun. Is it doing that? I don't know. It's a 50-50 chance if they're gonna be your client. Meanwhile, my regular clients couldn't get in. Now I know this is a scenario for everyone, but I started realizing the new clients weren't always coming back. And I couldn't figure out, because I knew I was skilled and talented. I knew I had the talent. I had lived in a city for almost 10 years off and on because I had gone overseas as well. And clients loved what I did. And now in this new city, I was finding that I was getting more gaps in my schedule. I was having to constantly get new clients. My retention rate was down, which I know a lot of you guys are experiencing. The retention's not there. You once were fully booked. I'm new to the industry, so I'm just trying to build my clientele. Oh my gosh. Comment the word booked and I'll send you a free resource to your DMs. And so the reality is that once you get into the industry a long time, you can kind of get lax a little bit. And in the beginning, we relied so heavily on our skill and our talent and developing those things and going to the classes and learning the techniques and staying on top of the trends. But what nobody's talking about is the communication piece. And as the longer you stay in the industry and the more you develop a long-standing clientele, you'll start to lose them when your communication isn't on point. I'm talking about communicating, which is like communicating this way, and communicating by listening to what they're saying. We can get into ruts with our clientele going, oh, Suzanne always gets this. And you can start to find gaps in your schedule. And so you need to create a magnetism for new clients that are the right clients that you're going to be able to communicate well with. Is this making sense? Are you tracking? I also want to say to you guys, like, what you want, I'm here for. So the more you participate in the chat, the more I'm able to give you what you need. So if clients aren't booking, you are lacking a magnetism towards yourself. And I see this happen all the time. People are like, I'm giving out discounts. I'm handing out, employees of this business get 20% off. Why? If I wasn't confident in your abilities and if I wasn't attracted to your offer, why would 20% off make me want to come? Right? So for example, I just saw, because I talk a lot about hair, I want to talk about another industry. I see tattoos, slow burn tattoos. If someone isn't into your style, say, like, here's my tattoos, my birds. But if I saw, I don't know, I'm not really good with the terms of tattoos, but if I saw a tattoo artist was trying to get me as their client, but they did all like black and gray work. That wouldn't be my style, right? I'm like very colorful with my tattoos. So even if they gave me a 20% off card, I still wouldn't want to book in with them. So they're trying to attract me as a client when I'm not their ideal clientele. You guys make sense? So a lot of people are focusing on, oh, if I give out a 20% off, if I give out a 10% off, if I give the employees of this business a deal, then they'll want to come see me. But you need to figure out your unique selling proposition. You need to figure out what makes you unique and what kind of people want to book in with you, and figure out where they're at. You have to attract the kind of clients that want what you have to offer. Instead of blitzing, which can work, the odds are lower. So you got to play the odds. You need to learn to play the odds. Are you guys tracking with this? My ADHD is having me go all off in 10 different directions. That's why when you take my education, I do these lives spur of the moment to give you guys information. When you take my education, we have a set curriculum that we walk through step by step to help you implement everything really well. And so you need to play the odds, and you have to decide, do you want to play the odds on the masses, which are going to make your percentage of success lower, or do you want to play the odds on a specific group of people that you know are looking for what you have to offer? I have my regulars, but haven't had a new client in the past 6 months. Oh, I love that. I don't love that, but like, let's get that. So you need to create a magnetism about yourself. Case in point, if I can share with you guys, if you go watch my Instagram stories from yesterday before they expire, I talk about building a clientele, needing to build a clientele. I literally didn't sell anything. I didn't talk about any of my services. And yet there was 9 purchases yesterday on my services because I didn't ask someone. I created a magnetism towards it. And so it's not about going and asking people to book in with you always. You can, that works. And it is something that I teach. But when you start with my care method that I'm going to be teaching and going over extensively in my client magnet container, which is going to be delivered live for the first time ever. And if you guys want to get in on it, let me know. I'm not sure if I even want to try anymore. I kind of feeling burnt out. Yeah, Tyler. And that's why creating a magnetism towards yourself rather than trying to convince people. Here's the thing. People don't want to be sold to, but people want to buy. Let me say that again. People do not want to be sold to, but people want to buy. And so just like yesterday in my stories, I was sharing about how to build a clientele and what you need to do and what you need to overcome and what the right kind of person who is building a clientele needs to do. I didn't say you need to go get my client building bundle. You need to join my client magnet container that I'm going to be launching in a couple weeks. I didn't say any of those things because I know I didn't need to. I know that building trust, respect, loyalty, and authority with my audience, with my future clients and students, is enough that the right people will go and do the research. The right people will go read up and see, well, what kind of perspective does Dawn have? What kind of history does she have with building a clientele? Oh, she's built her clientele and rebuilt it 6 times on 3 different continents. Clearly she knows a couple things or two about building clientele. Oh, she's been in the industry 23 years. Okay, and she's still working in the industry. She knows a thing or two about this. And so you need to create the same thing with your potential clients, is not asking them to book in with you. Like, I'm really slow. Like, and that's the energy you're putting out. Like, I have all these bookings. Can someone book in? No, you have to be like, oh my gosh, you guys are so lucky right now. I never have openings like this. It's your lucky day. If you've been wanting a last minute appointment, you didn't think you're going to get it because I used to book up so full. I've got some openings this week. The energy in what you present something with is the energy people receive it. And if people feel desperation, like all your employees get 20% off, or all of the people get 20% off, why? Why are you discount? Why is the discount the thing? Let me tell you, like, I was using example of tattoos. If someone like who did like skull and crossbone tattoos was like, kept being like 20% off, and I'm like, your work's beautiful, but it's not the kind of work that I want on my body, I'd be like, why are they so desperate to give me percentage off, right? Stop thinking a discount is going to be the thing that brings people in. The discount may bring people in that want a discount that aren't going to stay with you for the long haul. If you want to build a long-term, financially sustainable career, you need to not be offering discounts. You need to be communicating value, and you need to create a magnetism towards yourself rather than a desperation of asking people to book in with you. Make sense? Create a magnetism towards yourself rather than a desperation. My mental health hasn't been well lately. I've been working, but need a vacation, but no money to go on it. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that, Hairstyle and Alexis. I miss being super busy. The economy definitely affected the hair industry also. Makes so much sense. I'm glad that the tattoo example, I wanted to use like an example that wasn't hair. So, you know, like the whole like mullet trend is back. I can't cut a mullet to save my life. I mean, I could try, I could learn. But like, I'm not going to try and attract like my nephew who's 19, who all of him and his buddies want on mullets, right? I'm not going to be like 20% off a blowout, 20% off a balayage, because that's not what they're looking for. So you need to create a magnetism towards yourself for what you're good at, pump up your tires, and you need to know how to communicate it. And without the desperation, creating a magnetism, not a desperation. And that by doing that, you have to courageously show up and take messy, immediate, imperfect action. These are things that I'm going to go over when I launch the client magnet in a couple weeks here. And if you want to get on the early bird, the link is in my stories. Also, the first 10 people, there's 8 left, get a one-on-one 90-minute strategy session. So you get my eyes on your business exactly. Now, I get the whole, here's the thing, we can keep ourselves busy with the behind the scenes work. We can be like, well, I'm working on my policies, or I'm getting my website done. Those are all great things and things that I teach, also like how to get your pricing right. But if you don't have anyone booking in and paying you to start, it doesn't matter. You don't have a business. You need revenue. And so the core of this, the most important thing, is building a clientele, getting the right clients. And I know how nerve-wracking and stressful and maybe embarrassing it feels when you're this far into your career and you're needing to build a clientele. But the reality is how well you build a clientele and how skilled and talented you are have nothing to do with each other. You can be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't know how to get people to know that and understand that and see the value in it, it doesn't matter. That's why some of like the top I mean, I don't know, I'm going to make up an example. Some of the top hairstylists in the world that work on mannequins, you don't want to learn how to build a clientele from. Because if they're only working on models all the time, they're skilled and talented and they are amazing at what they do. But if they're not trying to get new clients, are those the people you want to learn to build a clientele from? Right? You want to learn from people who have done the work over and over and over again. This is why I teach this, because I rebuilt a clientele 6 times on 3 different continents. It's not something that I just talk about, it's something that I practice. And so skill and talent is important. Those technique classes that you take, those new classes that you take on the skill is important. But if you don't have anyone booking in, if you're not hired by a company to make trends, what good is it? You need to invest in the business side of attracting clients. It can be so embarrassing to not be fully booked. Let's talk about that, Yarrow. What is it that's embarrassing? I understand. I know that feeling. It is embarrassing. But let's peel back the layers and figure out, what are we actually embarrassed about? Are we embarrassed that if we're not busy, it means we're not good? What are we equating? And I'm curious to ask you guys, what are you equating not being busy or fully booked with? What's the conclusion you think people are going to draw around you not being fully booked? Is it the fear that you're not good, that you're irrelevant, that you've lost touch? I want to know. Ask yourself, what am I thinking people are going to think by me not being fully booked? I mean, after 16 years, I moved a ton. It takes a lot of energy. I need to find the energy. Yeah, or do you need to find the energy, or do you need to create simplicity? That's my question. Do you need the energy or to create simplicity? Because I think I know from fact, I used to overcomplicate everything because I thought it had to be hard. It feels juvenile, like you're not good or people don't like you. Oh, okay, so you're equating people don't like me. Interesting. Fear of not being talented. Fear, yeah. I'm just writing these down because this is really good. Then I'm not good or relevant. That I've been in the hair industry almost 48 years, and sometimes I feel like that's an asset, and there are other times I feel like it works against me. Hi, Renee. So it's like your time's an asset, but also a deterrent. So here's the thing. What happens is when simplicity, focusing on my ideal client would be better. Absolutely. We tend to overcomplicate things. We tend to project our fears and insecurities and assume the clients are thinking it. So for example, if you were to be like, say we're going to talk about Instagram stories, because people tend to want to do it that way. My education is not social media specific, because I built and rebuilt my clientele the first 5 times without social media. The 6th time, I utilized what I learned those 5 times and applied it to social media. I didn't use social media tactics. So marketing, when you understand how to market yourself and create magnetic marketing, then you don't have to rely on the algorithm. You use social media as a tool to implement your marketing knowledge. And I need you to know that, because I see so many people getting caught up in the like, well, how many times should I post, or what time of day, or how should I write this hook, and da-da-da-da-da. That stuff can be helpful, but if you don't know how to actually market the value of what your offer is, I don't care how viral you go. You can go viral and nobody books in with you. You can write the best hook and caption and have posted the best time of day, but if you're not communicating in a way that is valuable to the ideal client, they're not going to book in with you. It sucks when my clients tell me I'm the best stylist they've had, and I'm like, why aren't I busy? Oh, Tyler, I know that is so relevant. And I feel like, can you guys put a 1 in the chat if you relate to Tyler's comment there? Holy cow, yeah. You're the best. And it feels so good to hear that, right? These are so good, so good. Yeah, Ashen Nails relates to that. So I was saying something and now I lost my train of thought. Oh, look at all the relating to that, Tyler. Thank you for sharing that. 1, can we just say, like, when you show up real, raw, honest, and vulnerable and share in these, look at the community that we're developing. This is the stuff that the Client Magnet is going to go deep into. I'm going to be doing the live calls with you. I'm going to keep you accountable. And the Client Magnet is going to be for people who are serious about taking action towards their goals, not just over consuming and learning. You're addicted to learning and allergic to implementing. And that's what's holding you back. You know too much. The more you know, the less confident you become. It's been proven by a Harvard Business School study. The more you know, the less confident you are. So it's actually makes sense why you're feeling less confident about building a clientele later on in your career. You know more. It's so much easier to naively and ignorantly put yourself out there. Think of the confidence that young kids have doing stuff without fear because they don't know. The more knowledge you gain, the less confident you become. And so if you continue to over-educate yourself with knowledge but not educate yourself on how to take action, you're going to actually decrease your confidence and you're going to stay stuck. That's why I am launching the Client Magnet, where we're going to focus on action taking, doing it courageously, messily, immediately, and imperfectly. These are the things that you have to learn to embody in order to get to where you're wanting to go. And so if you're ready to show up courageously, messily, and imperfectly and take immediate action, put a 1 in the chat, because that's who I want to work with in the Client Magnet. Those are the people that I want that should be joining this container live with me so that we can dive in August into taking action so that by September and October, you've got clients flooding in. But it takes taking responsibility over yourself. Wild responsibility. I can't do the work for you. And if you just continue to learn the work, then not implement, it doesn't matter. I want to work with people who are ready to implement messily, imperfectly, immediately. Messy, immediate, imperfect action. Yeah, I was like, is that the 3 of them? And so, like I said, I have 8 spots left for the VIP strategy session that I'm going to give away. But then after that, we're going to the Client Magnet is going to be so freaking awesome. I can't wait. And it's really, really specific to people who've been in the industry for at least 2 to 5 years who feel that embarrassment, who are like, why am I not busy? Why do I feel irrelevant? I need to get more clients on the books. And you know that your skill and talent are good. But Samantha Stevens is in the house. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. Pass out cards and tell people you'd love to work with them. Does it help when you build relationships with people? 100% it does. 100%. Relationship building is the core of everything. I feel like I have like 80s hair right now. Like I used to want to do this when I was a kid. 7 years and about to give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. So many people are in the same boat as you. How many of you guys, did I just take my filter off? Look, I look a little sick now. Does anyone relate to that 7 years in and want to give up? What's the VIP thing? Can you DM me? Yarrow, send me a DM about VIP and I will get back to you. Send me one right now. And then after this live, I'll go into my DMs. Anybody who's interested in the VIP strategy session that I'm giving away free, a 90-minute VIP strategy session when you join my Client Magnet program that I am launching, and we're going to be doing live calls. How do I sign up for the class? Puka 7 Hair. I put an early bird link into my stories yesterday. You can go and check them out on my stories. 12 years in, and I don't want to make it to 13. No. So I'm so passionate about this, you guys. I want to help you out. I want to be able to help you get past, like, I've been in that situation so many freaking times. I've wanted to give up so many times. I've almost given up so many times. And then I had to ask myself, why am I doing this? And I want you to connect back with, people need what you have to offer. People need those conversations they have with you, that time with you, that confidence boost. I know that you're not in this industry just to make bank, but you're also in the industry to care for amazing people. It's not about the service you provide, it's about the connection you create. And you would be doing yourself and your clients a disservice if you let your embarrassment and your fear and your insecurity dictate your next move, instead of focusing back on, why do I do this? Why do I love what I do? Why did I get into this in the first place? What's kept me here this long? How can I focus on serving people? When you focus on the money and the desperation first, that's the energy you put out. But when you focus on showing up and caring and helping and serving, it'd be amazing how the money starts to flow and the clients start to book in. But you got into this place of insecurity, and your insecurity is talking louder than the care and love and passion behind what you do. And you need to reconnect and recenter with that passion, that care, that reason why you got into this in the first place. If you got into your career, into this industry, for more than just the service you offer, but for the connection that you make with the clients, put a 1 in the chat, because I'm curious how many of you guys are similar to me. Like, for me, it was never about the hair. It's never been about the hair. I love doing hair. I love seeing that. I love seeing people feel more confident, but it's about the connections and the confidence that I was able to help melt away insecurities around people, not only physically with their hair, but through the conversations. 12 years having a salon in my home, and this has been the worst year in a while. Yeah, and look at all these ones. This is what we're going to do inside of the Client Magnet. Reconnect with your purpose, right? Reconnect with the passion. Stop focusing on the downfalls and the fear and the lack, and start focusing on reconnecting with the purpose and the service. And we're going to show up courageously, and we're going to take messy, immediate, imperfect action. But I can't do the work for you. It has to be zero excuses, 100% responsibility. I had a business coach that had a tattoo that said 0/100. 0 excuses, 100% responsibility. If you're not willing to ditch the excuses, if you are someone who always goes, yeah, but, or you don't know, I can't work with someone like that, because you will always have a legit reason as to why things aren't working out in your favor, why it can't work. And if you always have a reason, that's not you taking responsibility. Now, I know that where you are right now is likely not your fault. Whatever circumstances in life have brought you to this place where you're not fully booked and you're feeling a little embarrassed, you're feeling a little silly, you're wondering if you shift somewhere else, it'd be less embarrassing because at least you'd be new in an industry, and then being new is more acceptable than being years in. If that's the narrative that's going in your head, then you need to realize that you need to take responsibility over where you're at right now, regardless of it being your fault. I had a huge pity party from it. If I can get really real with you guys and personal for a second? That's kind of my jam. Put a 2 in the chat if I can get a little personal with you guys right now. Don't give up. Maybe you just need to change. Yeah, you need to get re-inspired and reconnected with your passion. Get reconnected. I was having a huge pity party for myself over the last couple years. And on a personal, not a professional side, not professionally, but personally. I was in a almost 10-year relationship with someone that I found out betrayed me for the entire 10 years. And that hit my ego pretty hard. That blew my confidence. I was like, if I could have missed that, if I didn't trust my gut, I always knew something was off, but I didn't want to believe it. All these things, and I let it affect me and my business. I let it infiltrate and seep into every area of my life, being like, well, if that can happen to me, then clearly I'm not as confident as I think. Clearly I'm not as strong and powerful a woman as I think. How could I let someone deceive me and betray me in these ways? Who am I to be helping other people? Who am I to be showing up in these ways in my life? And it just crumbled. And here's what I had to do. I had to go, you know what? It's not my fault that this happened to me. I didn't create this, but it is my responsibility to move forward. And I can continue to have a pity party and think it's unfair and it sucks and I shouldn't have to be in this place, and learning to take care of 2 dogs and pay a mortgage by myself really sucks. But this is the choice I've made. This is where I'm at. There's choices I've had to make because of someone else's choices. I had to decide to no longer stay in that relationship because this doesn't serve me and this doesn't respect me, and I can't respect myself if I stay here. And so it was my responsibility to take wild responsibility over my life and my situation and go, this isn't what I want. I am leaving this relationship. However, this new scenario, this sucks because this isn't my fault. This isn't what I wanted to be in. This isn't where I wanted to be at. This isn't the scenario I wanted to kind of maneuver, but no one's coming to save me. And so despite wherever you are in your business or with your clientele, not being your fault, very, very likely, and having legit reasons and excuses as to why it sucks. It does. And that's life. And the moment you go, you know what? This isn't my fault. I wish I didn't have to deal with this, but I have no other choice. You get to decide, make a choice. Either you stay the same and you complain, or you make a change. And you can make a change and shift gears and have to go into a whole new industry and be new, and at least the embarrassment won't be there, but the effort will be 10 times as hard. So, you can avoid the embarrassment of thinking, what will people think? And jump ship and start something new and have to put so much more time and energy, and you're already feeling burnt out. Or you can reconnect with your purpose, get re-inspired, and spend time and learn from somebody who's been in your shoes. Totally your choice. You can stay the same. Time's going to pass no matter what. You're going to watch somebody else in a similar situation from you make the opposite choice of you, and you're either going to go, thank God I invested in myself and didn't give up, and here I am now because I see that person who changed gears and they're still struggling. Because you can shift gears and still be on another hard path. You can change paths and still struggle. Or you might choose to stay the same, which is okay too, and then you'll watch someone else who made the change to push forward, and in a year from now or 6 months from now go, oh damn, they did it. Now I'm feeling a little bit of jealousy, right? Make the change with Dawn. It's so worth it. Oh, thanks, Sam. Sam's been a long time student of mine, and you joined Rock Your Business. I don't know how long ago, like in 2020. Gotta put that filter back on. I feel a little bit tired. And so I've switched up my offerings, Samantha. Now I'm like getting more granular, and we're focusing on clientele building, and I'm really, 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 really here for it. Linz, hi. So you guys get to decide, and I want you guys to know here, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself, will I regret not trying again? Will I regret not trying something different? Will I regret not taking wild responsibility? And only you know that answer, right? But I just don't want to see more people giving up. If people can make it through COVID, if people can make it through moving to a new city at 31 years old and starting over. I am from a small town. I grew up hiding behind my mom's leg. My mom used to have to call my friends' houses to hang out because I was too anxious. I am not someone that this stuff comes naturally to. I am not a naturally outgoing person. I'm not a naturally confident person. I have worked on courageously and vulnerably showing up. That's what confidence is born out of. Confidence isn't born from knowing what to do. Confidence is born from failing and trying and doing it again and over and over and over again. First time I went live, there was sweat running down my back, right? Pushing yourself into discomfort, trying new things, and learning from people who've been there. Look at all these scars on my arm. Let me turn that around. It's from my dog. And so I want you to ask yourself, have you taken wild responsibility, or are you hiding behind excuses? Excuses are sneaky. They can be very covert. They can convince you that they're really real. You can have all the excuses will keep you feeling really safe. Growth will make you feel uncomfortable. So are you feeling safe and justified in not taking action? Or are you feeling uncomfortable and push forward? That's when you know you're growing. Self-sabotage looks a lot like comfort. And just so you guys know, like, I'm preaching to myself right now. Like, this is hard for me to hear, but it's good for me to hear too. Because no matter what, it's not like you hit a point in your life, in your business, in your relationships where things just become smooth sailing. I had this realization in therapy a few months ago where I was like, I just like keep wanting to let's get through all the things so that like I've worked through all and I've like arrived in life. And my therapist is like, interesting. So what I'll tend to do is I'll work through a problem, and then instead of just sitting and enjoying, I'm like, what's the next problem? Because as soon as I can figure out all these problems, then I'll get to the good place. Where it's like the good place is just living life, living business, right? I always take responsibility because I hate not being in control. I love that. So, that's so accurate. Say it again about the self-sabotage. Self-sabotage looks a lot like comfort. Is that the part, Bridget? Self-sabotage disguises itself in comfort. So like I said, if you've been in the industry for over 3 years, if you're struggling with fear of embarrassment, fear of feeling irrelevant, and wondering if clients are going to think you're any good because you're not as fully booked as you used to be, and you don't know how to get more clients, I want you to create a magnetism around yourself, so you're not having to desperately ask for clients to book. But when you create a magnetism around yourself, then clients want to book, and you're not being like pleading with them to book in. So if you want to create that magnetism, the client magnet that I am launching, it is a live container where we're going to work through these things, and we're going to take messy, immediate, imperfect action with courage and vulnerability. It's the only way to do it. If you're not willing to take 100% responsibility for where you're at now and where you're headed next, if you're not willing to show up courageously and vulnerably and messily with immediate, imperfect action, not the right thing for you. Because I don't care about what you know, I care about what you do. And this container is going to be for action takers, not that don't have their shit figured out, that are not perfect, that are nervous, and that are willing to show up courageously and vulnerably. If that sounds like something you want to do, go watch my stories from yesterday. Send me a DM if you want to be one of the first 10 people to get the VIP strategy session that I'm offering. Love this. There's no arrival. It's so true as a hairstylist. 100%. I want to work with action takers, people that are scared but willing to show up anyway. Because it's not about figuring it all out before you do it. You can't get fit before you start going to the gym. And so we're going to show up messy together. We're going to show up imperfectly together. And we're going to take wild action and wild responsibility over our lives and our futures. And it's going to be so freaking amazing. So if you're interested, go watch my stories before they expire. Shoot me a DM. So distracted by the people walking by my window. But this is so fun. So once again, if clients aren't booking, it's because you're not creating a magnetism around yourself. You need to create a magnetism that people see it. It's not about handing out 20% discount and being like, I'm doing all the things. You need to stop relying on someone else's system. I even said in my stories yesterday, how to build a clientele. It will not be found in a checklist, a how-to, a secrets, or steps. Even my client attraction playbook that's free. It's the 7 key steps to building your clientele. It's not going to, you're going to continue to look for things to be the answer when the answer is you taking wild responsibility and taking messy, immediate, imperfect action. That's how you're going to build your clientele. And so you need to stop looking for things outside yourself to be the answer. Stop looking for like, finally, I'm going to stumble across something that's going to finally be the thing that's then going to get the ball rolling. Bullshit. That's excuses that are keeping you feeling safe because then you can, I haven't found it yet. That's an excuse. That's self-sabotage, making you feel comfortable. Well, when I find the right thing, then I will. Oh, you just got to do it now. You need to show up messily and take immediate, imperfect action. Be willing to be seen failing. Trip over your words. Let someone be like, what was that? That was weird. It's okay. That's part of the journey. 99% of people aren't willing to do it. You're the 1%. Be the 1%. And the 1% it doesn't mean you have to be a top performer or anything like that. You just have to show up. I always said Britney Spears isn't the best singer in the world, but look at how amazing how big she got. Not being the best. You don't have to be the best. You just have to show up. You will outrun your competitors by showing up. Why are you calling me out? Because I care. Because I don't want you guys to leave the industry. Because I don't want you guys to shift gears and realize it wasn't about finding something else. It was about showing up. It'll always be about showing up. Consistency and showing up will trump talent and skill any day. Caring and the passion and why you do what you do will trump how good you do anything else. It will veto it all. Show up messily. Be willing to fail. And create a magnetism around yourself. And if you want more help, if you need guidance, if you need accountability, go watch my stories from yesterday before they expire right now. If the client magnet sounds like something that you would like to be a part of, go join the early bird. Or send me a DM about wanting to be one of the first 10 people to get the VIP session with me as well. All right? You guys are amazing. You have everything you need inside of you to start now. Even if you want to join the client magnet container with me, that's going to be live, start taking messy, immediate, imperfect action now. You know there's stuff you can do today. Stop waiting to work with me. Working with me will help for the right people who are ready to take responsibility. But you don't have to wait until then. All right? If you're going to take messy, immediate, imperfect action today, courageously and vulnerably, put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many of you guys are willing to do it. I know it's scary. I used to do these lives every morning during COVID, and then I stopped, and then I was embarrassed to get back doing them. It's weird. We convince we project our insecurities thinking other people are thinking like, well, where have you been? Why haven't you been going live? Like I said, I ended a 10-year relationship because of betrayal. I was like, how do I show up after this? I'm not as confident as I used to be. I don't think I can do it. And maybe that's what you're telling yourself about, building a clientele. Like I used to be so good at it. I used to show up but now I got out of habit. I was on my high horse. Maybe you got a little cocky. Maybe you were tooting your own horn and all of a sudden you've been humbled. Right? Oh, I've got a dog hair in my eye. And you're only fighting against your own insecurity. Nobody else is thinking about your insecurities the way you are. Your clients will be excited. We're going to create excitement and passion again. All right? For those of you guys that are interested in the VIP, shoot me a DM. Thank you so much for being here. And if you missed this, you can always go and listen to these podcasts or these episodes on the Anxious Creative Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, you guys, until then, stay weird and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast and for tuning into Business Breakfast and Bedhead. Like I said, I would love for you to join me live on these over on Instagram. So once again, just look up Dawn Bradley and let's connect. Shoot me a DM, send me a screenshot, tag me in your stories of listening to this or what you took away from this. Those comments, that feedback really makes my day and helps me know that these things are landing and that you want to hear more. I do these lives and I do this podcast for you to help you, and your feedback means the world to me. And if you enjoyed this episode, help me spread the love. Share it with a friend, a coworker, family member, or leave a review. And make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Until then, friend, stay weird.